Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back once again, another reaction for you guys. Take guys course here, check out the newest episode of She-Hulk. Don't forget that subtitle, Attorney at Law. This is season 1, episode 6, Just Jen. Just like the last couple weeks, I woke up early this morning to see, is it worth actually getting out of bed, getting in the shower, and recording a video? And nothing was being said once again online. I'm like, really? Because at the end of last week's episode, episode 5, of course, Mean Green and Straight poured into these jeans. That title, we know why it was that title. But regardless, they literally teased Daredevil. They had the mask in a box. Like, we saw the new mask. We saw it. And we're like, holy crap, he's showing up next week. He's showing up in episode 6. I didn't see anything online. I'm like, really? Really? And then, of course, later on in the day, I saw where people were saying there's no Daredevil. I'm like, well, I mean, people are going to say, spoilers! But it's like, I know people are going to be freaking out because we know he's going to be appearing in the show. You know, and I know as soon as Daredevil appears in the show, whatever episode he is appearing, people are going to be losing their minds online as soon as it drops. So the fact there was nothing, once again, early this morning, went back to bed. Like, I'm enjoying the show, but I'm not loving the show, and it's not really doing much on my channel in terms of views and everything. So I'm fine with watching a little bit later if it's not really something really to get up for, because like, I have to see it right away. You know, these past couple episodes, they've been okay. Not been blown away by them, but I needed the sleep, and I'm glad, because if I would have woke up and watched those episodes like I normally would, where I wake up extremely early to watch these shows early to get them out faster, it really wouldn't be really worth it at the end, in my personal opinion, because I probably should have slept. So I got to think about that at the end of the day. So here we go once again with another episode of, hopefully I'll overall enjoy it. I'll have to wait and see here. So we go, guys. Let's get into now episode 6 of She-Hulk Attorney at Law, Just Jen. Let's get into it and see what they show us. Maybe they'll tease Daredevil once again at the end. Who the fuck knows? But I hope he's appearing soon, because watch it be the finale. Watch him appear in episode 9, the last episode, and then he pops up. If that's the case, that's a way to end your show, but you've done a lot of build-up and had a lot of time to where you have to establish your own show, because it seems at this point mostly everyone's just looking forward to Daredevil in terms of his appearance in an episode, which is exciting and that's cool and all, but you also have to have your show actually stand on its own. And I think overall the show, in my personal opinion, is, but I wish it could be a lot better in many different aspects. But anyways, let's get into now episode 6, Just Jen. Let's go. Bridesmaid, okay.
You're gonna look hot. As Shulky? Yes, that is a reason to go to
Shulky?
the wedding. Yes. Yes, it's a self-contained wedding episode, and if you think this is happening at an inconvenient time in the season, you're right, because that's how weddings always are.
Yep. We've seen this in the trailers. Yeah.
Ass looks crazy right now.
Jesus.
Can I talk to you for a second?
She doesn't like
I
it.
can't believe you're doing this to me.
What? Taking all the attention away from...
That's kind of weird. The hug, like, okay.
This is the one time I didn't want to show up as Just Jen.
Yeah. Just Jen.
I'm a good guy. I don't want to
Sure.
feelings.
Okay.
Instead of having a conversation with your wife, you
just
kill
wanna-
yourself to get out of the relationship.
Jesus.
I don't
After any of the answers switching identity...
Okay.
How are you? What have you been up to? What's going on?
Besides becoming She-Hulk and all that, you know.
Actually, I'm like, are you dating a guy? A boy? Is there a boy in your life?
Well, that's what you care about, dating. Ugh.
We still have a little bit of time. Lulu.
Still a little bit of time. Jesus Christ.
Hey, Jen.
Really?
Good to see you.
What?
I love that you never make any... You sound insane right now. Like, Titania wouldn't just show up to my wedding, you know.
Okay.
I'm Josh.
Jen.
Hi, Josh.
Bride.
Half the event staff is like quitting because of how I'm treating them. Do you think you could help me
How I'm treating them?
run here, straighten up the card debt?
And Paul
Oh, okay, we're still going with this.
disappears the day the bill
Wait, are they all suing him? Or divorce, whatever?
This is exactly what I was worried about. Not only did you fake your own debt multiple times,
That's
you
been
also
filmed.
forged I will get you the best possible deal under the circumstances.
But it's not gonna be good.
But let me tell you this. You're gonna have to pay. I am? Yeah.
Ironing duty?
Thank you.
The groomsman is a dog.
You get to walk down the aisle with.
Why should we be punished for her mistake?
My son is not a mistake.
My God.
You use the word mistake.
Keep getting those drinks.
For the Lake Lawn.
Oh my God, they're going through everything.
Funeral so chic. I love your style. Taylor, you are...
I truly did love each and every
Oh, don't say it.
Bruce, where are ya?
I'll call him Bruce. He's not available.
months.
There's this guy again.
Oh no, it's happening.
Yep, throw up. Okay.
You know what? I can take you like this.
No, you can't.
I am not obsessed with you.
Yeah, you are.
Although
A little
it
bit.
seems like everyone else is. You do not get to ruin everything for me.
Oh no, I
It didn't
forgot how
work.
to do it.
Okay. Ooh.
We got a wedding fight!
Yep, wedding fight. Yep. There you go. Ooh. Oh. That's bad. Oh, that's really bad. They're taking pictures of that. Yeah.
Oh, you think this is funny?
Oh, Lulu.
Oop.
I know I promised. You sucker punched me when I was throwing up. Like,
I love you so much. I'm a fan.
Whoa, huge!
Cancel She-Hulk.
What is
How do we SWAT She-Hulk? What? How do we kill? Wow.
Fine.
It's called Intelligentsia, and it's all of these like.
Oh my God, she's telling her.
death threats, okay? But Mallory said not to tell you because.
Is this potentially a boyfriend for her? Maybe? Oh. Okay. And there we have it, episode 6 of She-Hulk Attorney at Law, Just Jen. I gotta be honest, I feel like this episode was... you know? I think the Titania fight, even though it was short, was, I think, a highlight. And I think another highlight is probably the actual ending of the episode where we learn of like a version of Reddit. Essentially, it's like their version of Reddit has a cancel She-Hulk, and there's death threats, and then there's some sort of science lab, and they're tied into the Wrecking Crew we saw because they were trying to inject her with something or do something, and of course with her impenetrable skin, they failed, and they said, well, the boss is gonna be really upset about this. And then we see this lab, and there's people that are saying one of the guys she went on the date with that was asking a lot of questions about her superpowers and impenetrable skin, like this weird nerdy guy, and then he was on the stand saying, I feel like women open up to me, and she really opened up to me, like that weird guy. They're saying he's actually the villain of the show. We're 6 episodes in, and we're now seeing this, in terms of this like lab that's like creating something to try to penetrate her skin to draw blood. Because we had that whole thing in episode 1 where Bruce was very adamant on destroying anything related to her blood because it could be taken and extrapolated and turned into something that it could be used for something dangerous. So we have 9 episodes of this show, and now with the 6th episode, we are now getting some sort of continuation of something they've been lightly touching on in terms of a story, in terms of like what is the real plot of the show necessarily. And I get it. This is a sitcom show. It's a funny show. It's not to be taken as like another Moon Knight or a Miss Marvel. This is a very different type of show. But they are sprinkling in certain narratives like this that ties into a storyline that they have been dabbing in and touching a little bit, but they've kind of been just doing their own weird shit, which understandable. Like I said, it's a sitcom. It's on the thing, it says comedy, superhero, action, adventure, science fiction, but they consider it a heavily sitcom from Disney, obviously. So I guess my thing is that they should have gotten to this particular point, I think, sooner, because we only have 3 episodes left, and these are short episodes, and they literally spent this episode, and I get some of the aspects of why they took Jen away and went to this wedding, because she had to get really drunk to really see that she was talking to this guy who may be a potential love interest, right? A boyfriend, potentially, right? Somebody who likes both Jen and She-Hulk, it seems. He likes both, it seems, right? And she is realizing a lot about love and everything, and how this wedding was pretty much like just not going well. She shows up as She-Hulk, and the bride-to-be is very upset with her. And then, of course, later on, after the fight with Titania, she's like drunk and like, oh, She-Hulk's at my wedding. It's like complete 180 because she's drunk. By the way, her wedding dress was okay. I'm a guy, so I really don't have an opinion on fashion, but I think my wife would see that and go, what? And then her groom that she walked down with was a dog that was brought back to life. It sounded like that morning. So like, that dog was on its last leg. I have no idea. But I feel like in her addressing the audience saying, yep, it's a self-contained wedding episode, that doesn't fix the fact that it's literally an episode of a show that we didn't need this. We didn't need the wedding portion, which is the majority of it. We did not need it. We did not need it. It felt like we sidetracked it. It was like their version of saying, this is like the self-contained. Now, there are some certain points aspect-wise. Titania was there, of course. So that was furthering a storyline, of course, we've been following since the beginning of the show. We also, of course, had the ending there, like I was saying, about the version of Reddit, and there's this lab, and their work. And these people must be connected to the Wrecking Crew because they have the same type of device. They're trying to poke, and they're probably trying to take blood from her. So there's all that, right? But everything else was filler. Literally was filler. There's certain lines and things that, okay, because literally the other storyline with this guy who's Mr. I forget his name, the word that he had, immortal or something. Like, that whole thing was just bizarre, and and look, this show is, of course, it's a comedy. It's supposed to do some weird shit, but I don't know. I feel like it felt like they literally created the storyline with this weird guy who had a bunch of marriages that, of course, ended in all disasters, to get to the point where both her best friend, Jen's best friend, and this other lawyer that has had issues with Jen in the past, and of course she represented her against the whole Titania She-Hulk name debacle, for them to get to the point where they're on the version of Reddit because somebody mentioned that site that showed the video of her, former husband or husband at the time, whatever, getting hit by 4 cars and he survived. And then they find the Cancel She-Hulk version of subreddit, essentially, and that's where everything kind of ties in. So I feel like they built that storyline just to get to that part where they both discover it. And it's like, you could have easily just had another way for her best friend to find it or something and not necessarily have to do a weird storyline with this guy. I don't know. I feel like the show, like, the comics, okay, the thing with adaptation, the comics traditionally for She-Hulk are very comedic, they're very lighthearted, they're not really too serious at times, and I'm not saying the show has to be serious in order for it to be better. So that's not what I'm saying at all, because I feel like this show is succeeding in certain areas because it is more like the comics where it has these lighthearted moments. But with the She-Hulk comics, for the most part as well, with the lightheartedness and some weird stuff going on, there is a through-line storyline they're following. And it feels like this show, adaptation-wise, is hitting some things correctly and other things they're missing. Because we've only seen crumbs of the storyline that they've been setting up. Because, of course, we're following her life being, of course, turned upside down because she's She-Hulk. But what about the fact that she's being tracked by these people that have hired a version of the Wrecking Crew, and we're now just seeing the lab that's creating some sort of needle, like some sort of device that can it might penetrate her skin to draw her blood. We're now seeing that, and it's a thing. It's an issue when it comes to 6 episodes from these Disney Plus Marvel shows, and Star Wars has had the issue as well for some of their shows, is the pacing issues of the shows. And I feel like She-Hulk has been a mixed bag overall in terms of episodes, overall, storylines, certain things in general. Like, overall, I've enjoyed the show for what it is. But this episode, even though she openly admits, and of course they break the fourth wall at times to address certain things, just because she broke the fourth wall saying, yep, it's a self-contained wedding episode just like weddings, it's inconvenient, blah, 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 but it's going to be great. It wasn't great. It was inconvenient because it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary for her to go away to a wedding with Titania, because she could have easily done multiple other things that could have been a better outcome. But I think the whole point was for her to find this guy. She could have found this guy any other place. She could have fought Titania any other place. It didn't need to be away from everybody else at a wedding that literally has no connection to anything else, because I guarantee that wedding's never going to be brought up again. There might be something about in episode 7 where Titania is on the news or something, and because people were taking photos and videos of her and everything, how she looked horrible and everything, and But I guarantee you that wedding is not going to be brought up again or addressed, or these characters, these people we saw. It's not going to matter. That guy may appear because he might be a boyfriend for Jen, but that's it. You know. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things to where they could have easily just found a different approach with this episode in terms of certain things they wanted to tackle, in terms of certain things that Jennifer was discovering about herself or realizing about herself, and the Titania fight and this lab and everything, and they're connected to the version of the Wrecking Crew and going after She-Hulk. They could have found a way to have that all brought in without having to do this self-contained thing over here and do this version, a storyline of this guy who could jump out of a building and he falls all the way down and he survives and he can never die and all that. They could just rework this whole episode, in my opinion, but that's just me. So what do you guys think of the episode? I can't even talk today. What you guys think of the episode? I'm curious to know your thoughts. Whatever thoughts you have, guys, let me know in the comments below. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out.